you went through a Tantra course, or you started getting interested into Tantra, and then you start dating or you start connecting with someone else, and how Tantra impacts into that.
Into a relationship that
Yes.
you're in, or if you are, I think we should be more specific, like
Being single and tantric.
being single and tantric. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. You know, when you are discovering this,
Yes.
and all these emotions you get is new, and you just get all fired up, is it enlightenment or falling in love?
Mm-hmm.
When I was younger, I went to this guy that did this magnetic field techniques, and at the time I was seeing a guy, and I remember he said, be a little bit careful with dating, or just have in mind that the treatment can affect your mind, so you might think that you are in love, and it can be the treatment.
Yeah.
And I think that makes sense, though. I think it can be hard for people to find out, is it love like the normal back in the days falling in love, or is this falling in love the tantric way with just
Life.
I know that is a hard one for many.
Yeah. I got confused a couple of times, because the things that I learned from Tantra that impacted also the way that I connected with the people, and the way, of course, I had sex with other people, impacted the reactions that I got from other people. And I thought I was, and that the other person was, falling in love, but it wasn't. It was, okay, this is an intense experience. And in the old ways of falling in love, I thought that a physical intense experience with a lot of connection led to a stable relationship. And that wasn't the case. It was a good night, a very good night. But maybe the person had a lot of unresolved issues, and that didn't lead to a good relationship. It was what we call good chemistry. But then I understood that it wasn't good chemistry. It was a lot of awareness and a lot of connection, and developing the bond, and making it intense for people, for example, that never had sex looking into each other's eyes. So when they have that first experience, is mind-blowing, actually, because it's like, I never had something like this. And I was like, you don't know anything, because this is
just the beginning. If you're with me.
This could be just the beginning. This could be great.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. But I think that is a big point, because if you get confused and you think that you are there with the other person and for the other person, no.
I like to compare it to falling in love. And when I was younger, I was so afraid of falling in love, or I said to myself, oh, I don't fall in love very often, at least. And you have people that fall in love all the time. And now, as I'm older, my mantra is fall in love all the time. Just fall in love with everyone. That is the best way to live, right? And to find out, is it falling in love, or is it enlightenment, or is it just tantric experience, or is it someone that you should pursue a relationship with? I think when you are, like you said, some people have never experienced falling in love, really, like truly, and connection and all that. And then you know that when that happens to you, you just know it. And I feel like when you are practicing Tantra for a while, that becomes the new, you experience that to fall in love with people, like having that experience. And you just know that it's not because you want something more from that person. But when you are willing to go into those relationships or live on that frequency where you fall in love with a lot of people and you have interaction with many people, you just go to work with lots of love and you feel this loving in love state. If you meet someone that are meant to be something else, like in a deeper level, I feel like you know it. It's something I can't explain. It's like you know it from the state you are elevated to, or you want to elevate from.
Yeah.
Not really any good advice, but I think to just have the feeling of falling in love should not be enough for you to go further. And either way, if you are confused, it's good to just rest in that awesome feeling.
One thing that a teacher said to me when I went there and said, okay, I decided that I want to live this life out there in the world. I want to be able to travel, but I want to live in big cities. I don't want to live in monasteries. What should I do? Because I feel that I'm longing for connection, but I don't get it the way that I want it. I get heartbroken. I get disappointed. And he said, you are waiting for every encounter to remain eternal. And you are trying to make every relationship meaningful, instead of focusing on what are you experiencing. Because if you look back and maybe you are adding one on top of the other, all the good experiences and encounters that you had in your life, what is more fulfilling? A life where you have meaningful connections every time that your heart aches for the sense of belonging, or to have a secure place where you can go even though it's not meaningful as you know it could be. That for me was a stab through the heart, because I thought that the only way to ensure to have deep love was to have a steady partner for the rest of my life. And in those times, it wasn't possible. And it was the other way around. When I look back and I saw these meaningful encounters with these different people that lasted as long as they could, all that I could keep from those experiences is the depth and the presence that I had when I was there. But that requires a lot of non-attachment.
I think the way he explained that is when I said to you that I tried to explain this with the screen and people, that it's counterintuitive, because it's not about not valuing the person you are interacting with. It's like he said, you are interacting with that person, but you go all in with the experience. And the experience is important in the end. If you go back to vibrations, and we are all vibrations, the more good vibrations we have, the better it is for the whole. But it's not linked up to that specific person.
I know that for these hours, minutes, weeks or months, I helped someone to be happier, and that those people shared part of this experience with other people after that. The same way that I felt touched when I could reach that level of intimacy and connection myself.
When I was younger, it was the one for me, like when I shared the experience with this guy, and I thought it was only one person that was suitable for me or meant for me.
Yeah.
I think I had that mentality for at least 2-3 relationships until I understood, or for
like this is the one. No,
yeah.
no, this is the
Yes,
one.
exactly.
No,
Yeah.
this is the one.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you understand that you can have meaningful, deep relationship with so many, and it doesn't have to be only with your partner. And for me, that has been a huge blessing and gave me a lot of freedom emotionally from myself and the kind of prison you put yourself in. Like, I can only be like this with this person by my side.
And what happens if you can't? No, because I think we spoke about this in a prior episode. You are growing into this path and you are trying to create a relationship that is meaningful. And some people, especially when I talk about this with gay men, they say, you know what, it's hard. My partner thinks that this is not okay because it's a kind of intimacy that they don't want to have. Or I am more into the one night stands thing because of my lifestyle. I feel more comfortable with that. And I say it doesn't really matter how the other person reacts. It's how present you are in what you're doing. The rest, it doesn't. If the other person let himself to be touched by this, then it's good. But if the other person doesn't, it's still good for you. I think that is the point where falling in love becomes enlightened. When you connect through the experience with the other person, not wanting to hold for dear life.
Yeah, I think that's when you get the enlightenment out of the in love process.
Yeah.
When you just share something unconditionally and you go, and you are like, wow, that was a really amazing experience. I think it's a tricky one. When do you know if you are falling in love, or just having that tantric vibe?
Tantric vibe experience.
Yeah.
I think that falling in love is more connected to attachment, and enlightenment, or in this tantric experience, is more connected to the experience and your ability to come back to it. You come back with the same person or you come back with a different one. That is you.